All right. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to another Engineering the Markets. My name is Jared. It's August 25th, 2022. Happy Thursday to everybody. And as the market is waiting for some information in regards to Fed decisions, policy adjustment, and possible aggressive behavior moving into today's activity where we do have initial jobless claims coming up and a couple of key earnings. Overall, the market this past week has been one of caution. We haven't seen much aggressive behavior outside of some new sector performance yesterday. We'll talk about that a little bit. But overall, the S&P has been kind of a flat performer, and we're seeing the market somewhat hesitant to move away from the expected move. You'll note that we came into the expected move bounds on Monday's session on our gap down, and pretty much the rest of the trade has been in and out of this particular level. Obviously, this is a more projected, quantifiable level from the option market. So it's not one to say that it's something of normal behavior to see the sort of in and out sort of style of trading. But this is where a lot of risk in the market happens to be this week. And as the market has been sort of teasing the idea of heading lower, we haven't really seen any follow through. So a lot of the overall trade is kind of stalled out at this particular price. Going into today, I think we have some interesting structure to review. For one, the market is gapping up. So we're clearing about 2 days worth of relative price activity. You'll note that roughly 415 SPY has been our key resistant price. We've had mild breaches above this area, but overall the trade has been centered around a gap fill level. And that was sort of established here in the pre-market of Tuesday's session. We see a lot of low testing in this area. And we even have yesterday's open come into this zone before starting more of a bullish transition back to the highs. You'll also note that there was sort of a very significant spike on yesterday's session, probably a bit more short covering because ultimately a lot of these after hour lows and pre-market lows, if you're holding short positions, you're often looking for those levels to get tested. And when you don't get follow through, that covering can come very quickly. That's very likely what occurred during this time frame, albeit we ran right into our previous day high and resistance. So how do we interpret today's trade? I would say that overall the market still has some bounds that we need to respect. We're starting with a gap up open, so we'll start with the assumption that the market can sort of move through a new value zone and possibly reclaim some higher prices. But ultimately, we need to be watching what occurs essentially at our previous day highs. So we are looking for the market to stabilize support in this area and looking for the market to actually retest what has been some of our pre-market distribution. At that point, we can look for more bullish play. But for now, the risk is that the market is simply going to fall back into that expected move area where a lot of the weekly value has already established. And that's kind of the sort of difficult part of this game is it's a gap up open. So you want the market to be bullish, but there's no indication of where can it go. We are looking at a pretty significant weekend gap that the market's pushing into. And that's usually not something that you want to play without volume. If we don't have volume today, the more likely scenario is that we slowly find our way back down and come back into our weekly value zone or our VPOC for the week. So keep those in mind. Some of those key prices to watch would be something like your relative highs, your VPOC, that would be right in line with your expected move on the SPX. And if we do go bullish, the concern is that we don't really have a lot of technical levels up here until we get to, I'll kind of remove these shorter term levels. We don't really have anything up here except for the balance range highs, which I believe pre-market is resisting. So trying to get into this gap is going to be a little challenging without some participation. And ultimately, it seems more like a fadeable area for the time being, assuming that the catalyst this morning is not of high impact. That would be our initial jobless claims. So that's kind of the look on the S&P. The Qs are pretty similar. You'll also note that we're kind of barely back inside our channel. This is a longer term channel, so I'm not saying the precision here is anything of note. But so far, this is where markets tend to respond bearish or bullish. You'll get mild breaches on either side, but because we're back inside, definitely want to be looking out for just weakness and a lack of momentum back to the upside without any news or event in the market. So it's an area of pause and sort of your elevated risk as a bull. We want to be careful here, kind of playing towards those thesis ideas. So some of the names that reported, we'll talk about Snow first and foremost. Is probably the more interesting one, as the other two are within their expected move. But as you can see, Snow is in play. Had a really strong earnings reaction, obviously net bullish. And overall, the earnings themselves were, I would say, not necessarily the most clear in regards to their EPS reported. But remember that we're looking more at the market sentiment and also what is the market expecting prior to the move. For Snow, we were looking at an expected move of about $17. If you price out a 160 straddle, that should be pretty close to $17 to $18. So we'll say 18 at a maximum. And if you look at where we're trading, we're already 30 points outside of that close. So from the expected move perspective, we're already about 1.5 times outside. It is a breach. We can sort of clarify and quantify that at this moment. The market wants to continue higher. The most obvious level to kind of shoot for is probably about 200. It's not a big standout in the option market, and there's a bit of a void of open interest between 190 and 195. But overall, 200 psychological seems logical, only if it continues to be bullish. If it does fade, 180 would be right in line with your expected move. And once again, it's not to say that the option market's advertising 180, but it does have some significantly higher open interest relative to prices around it. And therefore, if we do see any sort of profit taking or just the pullback in the morning, I would expect about 180 to be tested. So we're looking at about $10 ranges here. You want to be careful, assuming the volatility is going to be anything less. And ultimately, this is a fairly decent trading stock. You just have to be careful with your sizing. And also, let's kind of watch and see what the spread looks like on this thing. So Snow's outside of expected bounds. You compare that with CRM, which at least during the morning was sitting at about a 167 low. We closed at 180. So our 180 straddle is priced at about $14. We'll kind of compare that with the platform's expected move. So between $13 and $14 seems appropriate. A 180 close, and we're trading at about 166, maybe 165 near the low end. It's about $15. So we're pretty much on the expected move this morning. No real bias on this particular name except for continuation. And from a technical perspective, which we didn't do on Snow, Snow has a pretty significant breakout. I would argue that there is some support a little bit lower on CRM around 158. So if the market does want to sell a little bit further, there might be an area of inflection or just a stronger bounce in the market. Otherwise, there isn't too much. You could even argue that we broke trend into earnings, and we're now sort of breaking some swing lows on an uptrend. So be a little bit careful kind of catching bottoms on this one. It is out, or it is within its expected move. That doesn't mean it's going to necessarily be bullish. It just means that that's probably the lowest bounds that you'd want to see before it gets more extreme to the downside. And this is more of a normal type of move for the stock. And last but not least is Nvidia. So Nvidia is probably our biggest market cap that we've seen report earnings. Keep in mind, this is still about a $430 billion company. So it does kind of affect the S&P, it affects the NASDAQ. And really, if this were a more significant earnings move, we might see a little bit more gap volatility this morning. But it's notable that this particular name is actually down and the S&P is up. So there must be some other sector outperformance this morning outside of Nvidia and maybe our semiconductor space, which should be sort of sentimentally down on the session. We could kind of see if that's true just with something like SMH. It's actually kind of flat. So yeah, that one's really not moving too much this morning. So anyway, Nvidia, same idea. Priced in about $11 of expected movement, a 172 close. So we price out a 172.50 straddle. We get about 11.50 at most. So did the stock move $11? At this point in time, not quite. 172 to 166 currently, and our lower bound on the actual earnings play was 163. So even at its most extreme, it only moved about $9. I'll call it $9 to $10. I'll just call it 10 for ease. So what that is showing is that Nvidia is within its expected move. It's actually responding a bit bullish off of this area. And it kind of shows what could happen to a stock once you get to these levels. You want to see maybe a stall in the overall selling, and then ideally something like this where you get a little bit of a push in regards to a more volume-oriented event. The volume is going to be low in the after hours and the pre-market, but we are seeing this hold in its expected move. So it's going to be difficult to probably short this one initially. We'll need to see some clarity as to where resistance lies, and ultimately allowing maybe some of these moving averages to catch up. That might be an ideal short, just back down to some of these pre-market levels. One of the key characteristics of Nvidia is I didn't see a lot of overall trade occurring yesterday that indicated anything that was outside of the expected move. A lot of the trade was centered around expected move pricing. And when I look at some of the open interest, it's going to be around your $5 strikes. So 160 is a really heavy node. 170 is also quite large, but 165 is more on the put side, and there really isn't a lot of like intrinsic call open interest that was established yesterday. Most of it was, on the opposite side, more to the bullish case of a 180, a 185, and a 190. So really, this is fairly symmetric. There wasn't a lean bullish or bearish. It just so happens that it's a bit bearish. So a lot of these $5 wide strikes are going to be important for today. So let's see. Apple and Microsoft have a higher weight on SPY? Absolutely. Yeah, Nvidia is only a... Okay. So Nvidia is technically number 9 in the S&P market cap holdings. You know, it's nothing like an Apple or a Microsoft. That's why it's not really as impactful of a week for a stock to move the market. It's also not anywhere near some of the other top holdings. I mean, even between something like a Berkshire, you know, Berkshire is probably another 20% market cap larger than Nvidia, but Nvidia is one of the more volatile names. So the reason we want to focus on it is not necessarily the market cap itself, but Apple is more prone to move a smaller percentage relative to Nvidia. So if Apple, for example, were lower in the percentage market cap, it could move half and still have the same impact of a stock with half the market cap moving double. It's all about those percentages, and you get something small moving quickly or something big moving less, they have the same impact. So that's kind of why we focus in on it. But it's also a really important stock for day trading. It's one of our main names to watch in for today. I think it'll be on most people's watch list. As far as edge is concerned, though, it's going to be a little bit tricky, mostly because of those high volume and open interest nodes. So you really just want to look at what is the stock doing between 165 to 170. And if you can try and play, you know, bullish or bearish between those levels, you'll probably have a lot more success than looking for an all-day trend. That's just how the option market is showing this particular name. Okay, so those are our 3 earnings names. Really, everything else has been similar to the S&P in terms of its stalling look. The dollar is still looking to break previous swing highs. We have been seeing some activity in interest rates, so that is worth calling out. The 10-year especially has been notable because we're looking at readings here that are similar to back in early May. And this put a lot of pressure on tech stocks at the time. We're likely seeing some of that pressure return because we are seeing this kind of advance very quickly. That's obviously hurting, you know, the bond trade long. TLT has sort of retreated back to, I would argue, some of the relative lows, and it's possible that we're going to see another sell swing in the near future. So rates are still one of those areas that is putting pressure on the market. It's putting pressure on specific stocks more dramatically. And I think, like always, it's all about speed. If this were slowly rising, tech stocks could have other reason to be strong or just kind of following a trend. The fact that we've seen such a big adjustment in rates from the bond market is more of a warning sign, and the market has responded with a correction. So rates are still a little bit of an issue. I also think, you know, this kind of look on HYG, this, you know, once again is more of that risk on, risk off behavior. Would like to see this structured back into a bullish stance before considering longs in the market. But overall, you know, we're probably going to be looking at some sideways trade across multiple products. And even if it stabilizes here, we could actually trade somewhat non-directional for a while. That's usually after large volatility, usually get some ranges established before continuation. How much downside do you see on TLT in the near term? If we approach this as a structured market, then what we're looking at is possibly a range that's breaking down. We had a low here, we had a false low here that provided full upside, and we rejected resistance. So let's assume that this does break lower. What do you do when you anticipate range breakdowns or breakouts? You double it. So if this is the range, that's what the downside could look like. Now, that's not too much farther than the absolute low, but you're also trusting that this is the range, because this is not. It can't be. This can't be the range because we transitioned to the high after breaking the low. That's a false low. So this right here is an expectation. All right. Last but not least, we'll go over Tesla really quickly. Tesla did encounter its 3-for-1 split. So the stock is trading at approximately 305 this pre-market. Couple of notes about Tesla. Obviously, we'll be looking to see what it's going to do today. It's almost a new trading vehicle, so volume is going to be very different. There likely will be some more volatility coming into the stock. A lot of people are, of course, looking at this as a more bullish event. So we'll see if that's a sell the news type of event or not. Some things that are a little bit more defined, the option market. So remember that when a stock splits, every single option contract has to be subdivided into their new prices and the new number of contracts. So if I owned a 900 call yesterday or into the split, then I would now own 300 strike calls today. That's sort of the breakdown of what's happening for all contracts. And what's interesting about this one is the fact that it's a 3-for-1. All of the previous strikes were anywhere from a $2.50 strike to a $5 strike. And therefore, the numbers, the breakdowns of the new strike prices are going to be a little odd. This is more just for information. It's not to say that these are untradeable areas of the market. I mean, they're perfectly fine to open new trades on, but they're a little odd. You're not going to be seeing whole dollar response quite the same. And in the case of the option market, it's pretty much every $15 on the old Tesla price that'll have a $5 wide strike. So 900 is now 300, 915 is now 305, and that's just dividing by 3 for all of these strikes. So any of y'all Tesla option traders, don't be concerned with this too much, but you also might see some human / just overall natural inclination towards the whole dollar strikes. And what that means is 915 Tesla, 305 now, might become a gravity point, because if it is bullish, getting away from 300, old 900, kind of leads you towards the next highest value zone. And it's very likely that 305 will fill up much more heavily than anything in between. Obviously, that's yet to be seen. And it's just an arbitrary price at this point. But that's typically what happens in the option market. People like to trade. People and, I would say, risk likes to trade around whole dollar strikes or psychological prices. That's just more often encountered. So keep that in mind for today. As far as technicals on Tesla, I don't have a lot of push or pull one way or another. We filled up a small daily gap here, but Tesla overall is stuck between relative highs now at about 315 and then our sort of swing lows at about 280. So higher low, possibly a lower high yesterday. This can easily get tighter, but I don't have like a clear breakout or breakdown to work off of. So, all right, well, I'm gonna go ahead and call it for today. You might hear that my voice is still kind of struggling, so I'm gonna go ahead and take the advantage to rest a little bit more. Trade safe today. Look for the initial jobless claims, probably the biggest market mover that we might have for news. Also keep in mind that tomorrow is Jackson Hole, so there's likely going to be some discussion information coming out throughout the day that can shake up the market. For the rest of the week, obviously trade safe. And for next week, we'll dig a little bit more into some strategy, but we'll go into another style of analysis that I've been wanting to showcase. And for that, I'll actually kind of leave it there. It's a little bit of a surprise, but also something that you might be familiar with. So with all that said, we'll talk more then. Stay tuned for pre-market prep.
All right. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Pre-Market Prep. I hope everyone's having an amazing morning. Hopefully, you guys had an incredible day yesterday. So, shout out to Jared. Jared, hope you feel better, my friend. I know it's been going on for a couple of days. So hopefully, you're able to get over it by sooner rather than later. Hopefully, by this weekend, you're 100%. Hey, Norm. Good morning. How are you doing?
Hey, brother, I'm doing all right. How are you?
Doing good, my friend. Doing good. Can't complain. Um, but yeah, let's see how this market is doing. So, guys, thumbs up over for Jared engineering the markets, and let's check out what we had going on yesterday. Um, Hopping in here, we had BBBY on deck, and again, more of entertainment having it here. It really didn't do much, and for many of us that do trade with interactive brokers, there's just not a lot of opportunity towards the short side because there's not usually no inventory to short this thing. There might be some here and there. At the time I looked at it, there wasn't. Um, and sometimes if you hit it, you might get in, but for the most part, there's not a readily available inventory to short this thing, which is understandable. Um, so again, just had a one pop here, and then after that, didn't really do all that much. Kind of went sideways, and we expected this to not be great. FTCH was another one that took a dive here, but then did this beautiful. Hold on a second, guys. My daughter forgets I'm working. Let me turn this off here. Okay. Um, yeah, sorry about that. So here, guys, FTCH did an engulfing pattern, and you can see here how clean that was. Did take off here above the VWAP and ran all the way to 996. Came back to the VWAP again. So it actually was really clean. It got a lot of volume too. Some of these were 1-2 million share candles for the most part. But yeah, it's one of these tickers that I personally don't trade very well, so I usually try to stay away from. But not bad trading yesterday. Piton here. Piton, this was a great pre-market. This morning, they're interesting. They're down 14.8. We'll get into that. But pre-market yesterday started to get going. Norm, you took a shot at this one pre-market and ran very well. And
Yeah, it was a nice move. I
yeah,
actually
yeah.
held it through the open, which I rarely do.
Oh, yeah, nice, nice. I was wondering if you did, and you can see here got a nice pop over to 1340, and it just kind of went sideways here. Didn't really have any juice to get to our. It did get close, 1376 level. It did hit 1318, 1272, ran above that nicely. And these are daily levels, by the way, some of these here, and just went sideways after that. But today they're dropping, so they're dropping quite a bit. They gave almost everything back. we'll look at that in a sec. Here's Oxy. Oxy, again, not as clean as we saw the last 2 or 3 trading days. Very, very choppy. You guys, it's just not an easy trader yesterday on Oxy. JWN had actually a pretty nice short, cleaner than I had expected. It did give you a pop here, almost a clean rising devil, but I know Brian didn't really like the way this one set up, so he didn't take it, at least not for as a rising devil. And then you can see here the drop that you got from there. Most of the entire day, again, a lot of sideways action. So this kind of tells you about this week. You got some early moves are happening very early on, and then it's just the volume seems to die down, and we're going sideways for a bit here on a lot of these tickers.
Welcome to August.
Yeah, welcome to welcome to August, early September. This will go through probably for a couple of another week or so, hopefully. All right, let's get to our list.
I didn't even realize we came on early.
Yeah. Jared wasn't feeling well, so he's been battling. Yeah, we were on very early. We
Okay. I was looking for data that's not out yet, and it's supposed to
like,
come out at
you're like, what the
8:30.
hell's
We've been
going on?
for like 5 minutes, and I'm like, where is this? Something's wrong here? The whole time you're going through that stuff.
So are you like we were refreshing everything and yeah, I got you, man. Yeah, we're a little early. It's actually 8:30 now. With that said, guys, quickly looking at our gappers list this morning. Not bad. We have a couple of things gapping up today, quite a bit. Some ticker names that we know are not going to look great, but we'll get into that. We got a lot of the Chinese tickers today. I noticed quickly, Billy, JD, Baba, all up this morning, NKLA. So there's a lot going on there. Plug is back on the list here again today. But again, a lot of Chinese tickers this morning on this list. And then gapping down, as I mentioned before, Piton, down 14%. Just gave everything back that it did yesterday. We'll see what's happening there. And a couple of other names that had earnings last night. So with that said, before we get to that, Norm, overall market and what's happening for today and the rest of this week.
Yeah, so we just had some numbers drop. GDP second quarter, some jobless claims. I have a feeling it's going to make the market a little heavy, which is in case the fact. The real thing is waiting for 10 a.m. tomorrow. Fed symposium is currently going on in Jackson Hole, but just like their 2-day meetings on their normal FOMC policy decisions, they will be quiet until he comes out tomorrow at 10 a.m. So I anticipate the same that you just described, with some activity in the morning. And then really probably not a whole lot after that, considering it's August and waiting on to see what he says. So somebody's asking, Scion's asking, how do jobless claims affect the market? Well, this morning they were relatively in line with expectations, so it doesn't really do a whole lot if that's the case. If there's something way out of whack, if we start seeing trending toward higher jobless claims indicating people starting to get laid off, which some people anticipate with the slowdown of the economy and technical recession that we're in, that could make some bigger moves. So,
Yep. Fully agree. Should be good to see how this thing affects things. But I agree with you here. The SPY was up nicely early on, dropping a bit here. Let's see how it continues to develop. Question over on YouTube. Someone asked, what is a rising devil? So we have a whole webinar on that. But basically, if we look at which one was that one? Was it Piton or JWN? It was JWN
probably.
Yeah. So in short, and again, I'm not gonna go into all the details. We don't have time. You have this drop that usually is happening. So a stock that's selling down, we call it rising devil because it's kind of like this stock shouldn't be up here. It really wants to sell off. It's just like a devil trying to rise, but it's gonna end up going back down, right? So that's the idea. But we have a whole webinar that Brian has put together on the criteria that we're looking for, and usually here's where he'll go in short.
Yeah. They're asking if Nvidia is a rising devil candidate. We'll get into that in just a minute when we dig into the list. But yeah. I gotta say, I do like your avatar. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, that's pretty cool, right? This is A over here. A. Yeah, very nice. Cool, guys. All right, so let's get to it. Let's remove what we had yesterday on here. We're gonna go Control A, Control X, and I am gonna place we'll start with P-Time because we looked at that earlier, and you can see here, guys, down 14%, and then definitely in play. We had it in play yesterday as well. We'll definitely be looking at that one. Norm, any reason why this is dropping again? Are they not doing?
Yeah, they had earnings this morning.
So they had Amazon yesterday, and then earnings today kind of show the reality of things. Okay,
Yeah.
so back to where they were.
They had earnings and they were, dude, rough. I can't
Yeah.
even imagine if they didn't have the Amazon partnership pop
They'd probably
yesterday.
be
I
at
can't even
$8.
imagine what they'd be at.
Yeah, they'd probably be right here at 8.59. I mean, it's
Maybe
just
lower.
yeah, so bad. So yeah, guys. So that is
There's a
P-Time.
reason they announced that the day before earnings because they knew that was going to
Makes
suck.
perfect sense. And I wonder if they would have announced it after, they would have got a little bit more bounce. We'll see. I'm sure they thought about that quite a bit. So here it is, guys. Let's see our gap up list. We got VACC this morning. Horrible. Looks like just a nasty pre-market activity. Really nothing to see here. You had this one initial pop. You're going sideways.
UK biotech. It's not even worth the breath you're wasting talking about it right now.
Next. No. Let's go over to Snow here. Snowflake is a tough one to trade for me. I'm not a big fan of it. It is in play today, guys, up 20%. And again, they had earnings last night. I know some of you guys were watching this. Jared was breaking this down, I believe today and also yesterday a little bit. I'm going to put it here as a possible, just so you guys know that it is in play. I won't be watching it. I just don't like the way this thing trades. Here is FREY, and no volume right now. It is up nicely, 16% for the most part on the daily. They don't get great volume, under 2 million for the most part here. So not a fan of how that is setting up at the moment. Figs, also another low volume trading type stock. And I hate this pre-market activity when stocks do this. They pop up and they come back down. They move sideways. I don't like that at all. Even with the 1 million shares they're trading here, this action is not great. So I wouldn't expect anything awesome out of these guys. PULM, low flow stock.
So there was news this morning, and
Yeah.
we're going to start getting into some of these, like T-Doc, that Amazon announced they're closing what the hell is it called? Amazon Health or something.
Yeah,
I
health
don't know.
thing.
Yeah, it's some health service that they had started. They're closing that down. So there's some sympathy in here. My guess is that is what Figs popping on sympathy there, because I believe it sells like lab coats and stuff like that. Yeah. So I could be wrong, but that's the only catalyst I can even think of. That having been said, it sucks.
Yeah. T-Doc is not great. It's a horrible ticker here. So where'd they go? Oh, they were just here. Okay, they dropped a little bit, I guess. So we got now here. So I'm not gonna add these guys to my list, but here, guys, we have Futu. We have a bunch of Chinese tickers this morning, Norm. That are gapping up. What's the deal with this stuff? Anything major over on the Chinese front?
Somebody else might have an answer there, because I have not looked into it this morning. I see a bunch of little catalysts here and there, but I'm not seeing one specific. I mean, they're trying to stabilize their economy. I didn't see a specific piece of news. I guess they're getting ready for some policy stuff. That's all I really see. So,
gotcha. Yeah. So
stimulus.
Yeah, definitely something pumping them up here this morning. I'm probably going to watch BABA, which is for me the one of the best trading stock that there is as far as Chinese tickers. Not doing a whole lot right now. It definitely needs a little bit more. But if something's going to happen over on that front, BABA is going to be one to look at. JD's another one, and we have others as well that you can look at. NEO that are going to get the volume, though NEO has been just horrible lately, so not a big fan of that. All right, so if we cut through some of the stuff that's on here, again, a lot of Chinese tickers. SoFi, we had it on deck yesterday. Again, I had it as a possible, not a great trader. And I think we'll stop here. AMC maybe. I think the fun is over on AMC. This thing is up 2.2, but not really doing a whole lot. And CCL, not doing a whole lot right now. Pretty much, So we'll keep what we have at the moment. Let's see what's gapping down. ANF, it is down 13.8 right now, 470,000 shares traded. And at the moment, they are just not looking great. They had the one initial drop, kind of moving sideways. So we just need more information on this one. I don't remember if we ever looked at this ANF. We might have here.
Abercrombie and Fitch. They had
earnings this morning. We have. Yeah, we have looked at this. Not a great trader. I don't know. Maybe today they'll do something, but you gotta wait for the market open because these tickers don't do a whole lot. But again, very very crappy type stock. P-Town we have on deck, guys, looking good this morning. So they're dropping here on their earnings, and you can see here pre-market already very very active with 4.2 million shares traded. DLTR. We've seen this stock plenty of times on our list. It's not a great trader. This is Dollar Tree, down 7.8, 171. I'm assuming earnings as well this morning.
Yep.
Yes, yep, there it is. So we'll see. Again, it's just we're getting into the end of the earnings season, and usually a lot of crap starts to come out here. But we got some good ones. We got Nvidia. We got I think Salesforce, which is not great, but we'll look at that. Here's CRM. Speaking of Salesforce, this one's okay. I mean, this one's okay. It's dropping quite a bit here, down 7.6. It's a hit or miss. It can trade very well. It can be very choppy. We've seen both sides of this ticker many times. I'll put it on the list now. It's not going to be on my main list yet, unless I don't find anything else to watch. Nerve V here, so NERV. We had this going yesterday as well. I didn't keep it on my list, but looks like it ran up here. Not nicely though, not a nice breakout, but it looks like it has some juice yesterday, over from 5 up to 840. But again, this is just not the way I trade, so difficult to keep this on my list. You're going on the second day here. Usually the second day is a lot tougher to trade. This thing has been a runner the last couple of days, in a very short period of time, right? So you're going back beginning of August, just a few days ago here, and now yesterday. So not sure what their deal is and what's causing these pops. But again, just not a big fan of that. Also, low flow stock, guys, so be very, very
Looks
careful
like
there.
it has multiple personalities,
Yes.
and they happen to be working on a schizophrenia drug.
Oh, that's right. That's right. This is that company, which again, I hate those type of catalysts. It's just I don't know. I trade them horrible. Here's Indo. This will be the third day that they're very, very active. Not much volume yesterday. Today, the fun might be over. Pre-market's really not looking great. So we'll skip on that one. And here we're getting to finally something that hopefully will make our day. Nvidia. So Nvidia definitely in play, guys. They had earnings last night, which again, it looks like they didn't do horrible. Not great, but they're not falling off the face of the earth. Only down 3.2 this morning. So
Guidance was pretty bad. I'd keep an eye on this one for sure.
yeah. So down down 3.2, 1.2 million shares traded, which, as you know, guys, that is amazing volume for Nvidia in the pre-market, only at 841 this morning. There was another one that had earnings. I'm not seeing on the gappers list. It was Nvidia, CRM, and I forget which other one it was. All right, that's fine. If we it was an A firm. Yeah, Snow we looked at, which I don't like as much. Maybe it was A firm. If I can type here. Yeah, it could have been this one, but it's not doing a whole lot neither right now. Pretty quiet as far as volume and gap up as well. Yeah, CRM I have as well. Okay. All right, guys, that is what we have. Norm, anything you
Firm
like
has
this morning?
earnings tonight, I believe.
Oh, it's tonight. Okay. so tonight.
Tesla's 3-for-1 split has
that's right.
taken
That's
place.
right.
So back down to 300.
Back down to 300 on the way to 1,000 again. I mean, this is just incredible. How many splits have we had in the last 2 years? Was it this is the third one or the second one? I can't. It's just
Three, I
two.
think. Is this the
I
second?
thought it
Or is
was.
this
I
the
thought we've done
third?
three since I started
I think
trading
we've
at
done
least.
3.
Yeah, since I started day
I thought we've
trading.
had 3 total.
Yeah. All right. Maybe 2 in the
I
last
could be
year.
wrong, but I
Oh,
don't
it's
follow
just two.
Tesla nearly as closely as others.
Jen, you're right. It feels like 3. I mean, it really feels like it's been 3 of these
Maybe it's
guys.
just because it went up and down so much
that it feels like a split.
that it felt
Yeah.
like it went up and then split and then
Yeah.
went back up,
Back
actually
up.
split, and now it's splitting again.
Oh man, it is insane.
I'm
So
talking about before 2020,
yeah. I know 2 in the last
couple of years. But wasn't there one before that?
I thought it was one before that.
Somebody
Maybe
can
like
research that.
yeah,
See?
and not in like after 2018, right? Or something that would have been when I started trading. But either way, guys, Nvidia, Tesla here definitely in play. Man, what a stock! 1.9 million shares traded, 1.6 up this morning in the green. Beautiful daily as well. Let's see how this is going to trade today. should be definitely very interesting this morning.
Two
People get the
million shares
FOMO.
traded nearly. Yeah.
Yeah, people get the FOMO. It's like, oh, it's too high of a price.
Excuse me.
Now it's $300, and they want to get in for the long term. Okay, what else you guys like this morning? Alfredo, it was JWN. What was JWN? JWN. Oh yeah, they had earnings yesterday though. So I thought it was another one that had earnings either last night or this morning. But that's okay. Maybe I'm confusing some information here. But yeah, JW. I think the fun is over on this. You're not gonna see this react the way it did yesterday. Yesterday actually did very well for the way the stock trades. Simon, SoFi, man, SoFi was a mover yesterday. I had it on my secondary, but just look at this thing. And they get volume, right? They get about 3 million shares per 5 minute candle, which is great volume. But look how this trades. And this is what I don't like about SoFi. And I usually get stuck in these. It traded very well after 12, right? Beautiful drop here. But my time frame is usually 9:30 to about 11, 12. So it always tends to do this garbage over here. So not a fan of that. Today I don't think they have a whole lot going on. Again, they got volume 1.2 up 2 million shares traded. I just don't know if they have anything going on. Also, notice the interesting daily here. All red days, even under gap up, all red besides this one. So I don't know. It's just interesting the way that is setting up. Be on the lookout for that if you're going to be trading that. Carlos, are there pivots on the Tesla? I don't see it. You know what? What do you mean if there are pivots? Of course there's pivots. I don't have it listed here the way Thor does, but yeah, there has to be pivots for this, right? DLTR. Yeah. Oh, we looked at this earlier, guys. This is a very difficult stock to trade. That's the reason why I'm not going to put them on my list. For the price at 150, they trade very thin, and the volume. Look at the volume up for them is very, very light. I mean, already they're down 8.1, and they only have 180 shares, 180,000 shares traded. So that's typically how they trade. Very light volume. So I don't like the way they move. Volume dictates what kind of price action you're going to have. And I like heavy volume. Light volume trades a little bit funky. Not that it's not tradable, but you got to have a style to trade that. YINN. No. Also sitting on the American Stock Exchange. Man, this is brutal. Traded well yesterday up. It did lose, yo. You sure this traded well yesterday? Let's see what your definition of traded well. All right. So yeah, that did trade well. That did, without looking at the details. Yeah, that did trade well, but I don't know.
Chinese ETF. That's a Chinese ETF.
Oh, that's what this is. Yeah, I don't. Okay, so yeah, what was causing the pop? Do you know the news? Maybe that's the news that's costing some of
I
these
think it's
other
the same
stocks.
stimulus stuff that we're seeing on everything else.
All right, I rather trade a actual Baba, but yeah, man, if you watch this and you know how to trade it, ETFs are a little bit tricky. You got to know what's behind it. You can't just day trade them like a regular stock. You really got to know what's the news behind it. It's going to help you a ton. It's kind of like trading the SPY, right? You got to really know what's happening a little bit, especially overseas ETF. You definitely want to know what you're doing. So be very careful. And I'm sure this is leveraged. If something is leveraged, guys, whoops, I made that too big. How do I make this small again? I don't even know. Double click on this. Maybe this. There he goes. Yeah, I found it. Yeah, 3 times leverage. So again, just be careful. All right, what else we got? JD gapped up. Yeah, that's what we're talking about, Jonathan. JD, we had JD, Baba. A lot of these Chinese companies gapping up today, quite a bit. So yeah, I have Baba on deck. JD, it could be okay. Possible for now. I know some of you guys like this one. I haven't traded JD in years, man. I can't remember when's the last time we touched that stock. We used to quite a bit. I'm sure Brian trades that quite a bit. He loves his ETFs. ADSK, no. Earnings last night, maybe we got a pop last night, but that's all you're getting. There's no volume whatsoever here. So
they had earnings last night, but this is a terrible one to trade. I've watched this intraday, and it just doesn't get volume.
Yeah, and you could tell here, guys. Look at the history. I think the entire month of August, they probably only traded what?
It's got about 1.5 million average.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. Heading down here, Frey. No, Frey. We looked at Frey. It wasn't great. So yeah, Frey here. No volume, guys. Good pop. Just again, 160,000. It's not great volume. So, what else we have? 150. Yeah, it needs a little more, Richard. Nice pop there. Also, Richard, I'm looking at this down here, right? For the most part, on regular days, even when they run, this is a 50 cents move, maybe 75 cents move with 1 million. they don't move a whole lot and they don't get great volume. So
It's out of the Netherlands. Usually things out of
yeah,
the Netherlands are terrible.
they don't trade well. Go look at the daily too in history, and you can see look how bad this is. This is just nasty. A lot of gaps in the daily on the 5 minute. You don't want to see that in the way we trade. All right, guys, we're set. Tesla, we have drug. Last one on the list to look at. Drug this morning. No, no. Well, yeah, we saw this yesterday. Yeah, no, this is not my type of trade. More of a penny stock trying to break out here. Be very careful today. As you can see, it's making lower highs on the daily. That's not a good sign. This thing wants to keep going up, so you don't get caught in a slam there on this drug company. All right. With that said, guys, let's get over to our webinars and see what's going on for the rest of the week.
All right. Just a reminder, anytime you want to check out the upcoming schedule, you can go to bearbull.com, scratch, what?
wait. Bearwood.com, scratch. What is a betting website?
/webinars. Sorry,
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
not feeling that great this morning. Frankly, I woke up with a little bit of a sore throat, so I hope I'm not
Oh
getting
man,
sick. But
hopefully
you never
you're
know.
not getting anything, man. Yeah.
So I'm a little bit off today. Mondays, every Monday, onboarding technology with Carlos. That is at 8 p.m. Eastern and open to all membership levels. Then on Tuesday, we focus on strategy. Next week will be Mike talking about finding a trading strategy for you, and then fundamentals of profit taking the following week with John. Psychology on Wednesday. We've got Mike next Wednesday talking about overcoming fear. And then Dr. Kenneth Reed, the Trading Trance Part 2, follow up to his previous one, 8 p.m. on the 7th. Then on Thursday, we've got mentorship with John, Ed, and Thor. So 11 a.m. with John. Just quick note, that one will be a little bit short today. I know John's got something else going on, so probably about half an hour. And then Ed at 4 p.m., Thor at 8. Don't forget about StockTradingSimulator.com, our free web-based replay simulator. You can hone your trading skills 24 hours a day for free at StockTradingSimulator.com. If you are interested in checking out Bear Bull Traders inside the members area, you can use the code PreMarket24 to get a discount off the intro membership. It is 1 week. It does not recur. It's a one-time payment. And Read 50, you can still use that to get half off the Elite annual membership and a free one-on-one coaching session with Dr. Kenneth Reed.
All right, thank you very much, Norm. So yeah, man. Hopefully you're good and not getting sick. But Eric, question here: is it possible, Norm Carlos? Is it possible to get a mentor? Absolutely. And when I get this question, here's my advice to you: is if you're just starting out, wait a couple of months, just kind of see what your style is going to be, and just observe what kind of trader you want to be, and then you can make a better decision. On what kind of mentor you need, because there's several ways to get a mentor. You have all the moderators. Some moderators do mentorship. So by then you will know which moderator you're more inclined to trade like, right? You can reach out to that moderator, see if they have mentorship opportunity. And the other thing you could do is if you want a psychologist to do mentorship, we got a couple. We have Dr. Kenneth Reed, we have Kreda, we have but not sure if Randy does it, but we have a couple of psychologists that you can reach out directly and work with them as a possible mentor, right? So
psychology front, and some of them
Yeah.
actually trade as well. So
yeah. So a couple of things you could do that. Ed also does mentorship. He actually has a program too that he runs. You want to might reach out to him as well. There's a lot of ways to do that. But again, just wait a little bit, get familiar with what you really want to do. So then when you go into mentorship, you have a plan of, what you need help with. You have an idea of what kind of trader you want to be, instead of trying to figure things out, as you're moving, could help you out a little bit.
yeah, because I can tell you firsthand, it is not, if you have a mentor-mentee relationship that the personalities don't match, it's going to be a complete waste of time and
Yeah, I agree.
money, effort, everything else.
Yeah.
I don't mentor anymore. I used to a few years ago. I just don't have time
It's
anymore.
time-consuming.
And I'd talk to somebody for half an hour before I'd even consider it, because and I'd just be frank with them. I was like, our styles are different. We think differently. I'm not going to be of any help to you.
Yeah.
Maybe I could point them in the way of somebody that I thought might, but anyway.
Yeah. So very important to kind of see who you match up with, and then reach out to that person. All right, guys, let's get to it. Let's get to some levels here. We don't have a lot on this list. We have Piton, Baba, Nvidia, and Tesla. We're gonna go ahead and see if anything else pops up that looks great. But this is not a bad list, though. I like this list. It's small, it's fine-tuned, and this is the kind of list you're going to be getting in these type of August trading days, right? So Piton right now, guys, great volume, 5.1 million shares traded, up 13, down 13.8. After earnings, again, they had the news of Amazon. If you missed it yesterday, that did very well. Got a nice little pop there. And then today they had a last night. Was it today or last night? This morning earnings 7 a.m. and you can see the drop here on Piton. So next we have Baba. So Baba here, a lot of Chinese tickers. You have JD, you have Futu, you have Plug Neo. A lot of these gapping up this morning. One of my favorite Chinese tickers is Baba to trade. I think they move extremely well. Almost feels like you're trading a US ticker there, right? So right now they're up 4.2, 614,000. There's some news. So that's why a lot of these Chinese tickers are popping up this morning. And yeah, so Baba is good. I'm going to keep them on deck. I love when the stock is gapping up or down. Sells better towards the downside. We just got to see how strong this catalyst is going to react when the stock market opens. So don't be quick to short it. I know we've done well doing that. Let's see how this thing is going to react after that bell. We need to wait a little bit to see how the news is. Look at Nvidia here, getting a nice pop just now. Only down 2.4, was down quite a bit. This is after earnings. As Norm mentioned, their guidance was pretty crappy here. Let's see how this does. Let's see how this does today. Definitely heavily in play today, guys. 1.5. This is going to be a good one for today. So even yesterday before earnings, leading up to earnings, they traded very well too. Very, very well here on Nvidia. And then we have Tesla after the split today. They have insane volume. As you can see here, we are looking at 2 million shares traded already this morning, and then they are up 1.9. So doing pretty good there, guys. This is definitely going to be in play. We'll see which direction all this volume is going to hopefully move this stock. And then a couple of mentions: CRM, Snow, ANF, and JD, all gapping up or down here pretty nicely, especially Snow and ANF, which is a Colombian Fitch. I just don't have no faith that these guys are going to trade well. Snowflake might, though. Snowflake has a better trading activity in the pre-market than we're used to seeing. So this could be one that we move up if we don't find nothing else. So we got a pretty good list here. All right, let's get to the levels. Let's go to Piton here. So Piton this morning, going to remove what we have from yesterday. And this morning, our low of our pre-market sitting at 11.05. So we'll slam a level there. Below that, you have the low from yesterday. Sorry, the low from 2 days ago, right on there. We blew by the low from yesterday, as you can see here on this gap up, right? So well below that. We're surrounded by the highs and lows of the last 2 trading days. If we look outside of that picture, we are going to be hopefully looking at 10 here, 10.09, a great level of support and resistance there. And I think that's all you really need. Your pre-market high is well above the previous day close and the highs from yesterday. So again, pretty far out at the moment. In between here, we might get into this range, might get into this 1350, 1250 range, right? So right in here, you definitely want to find a level. Let's see the best level we have on this daily. There's a couple of touches, might be 1291. It's a couple of touches there, not great. I only see about 1, 2, 3, 4 days. Not bad, not bad. So a couple of touches around 1291. I think it's worth having that on deck, and we'll see if that's gonna mean anything for this ticker. Obviously, look out for 13. We're pretty close to that off that level. Whole dollar numbers on lower price stocks are usually very important. But that 1291, yeah, that seems like something. Also, if you go back to the left here, you can see it's a couple of areas on that 1291 that are slamming against. So worth having on the list there. Next is Baba, and Baba here again pushing up higher, 4.4. We are leaving this area of this consolidation we had here from 95 to 87, just kind of stuck within here on a smaller consolidation. You can see even a tighter one, but for the most part, leaving this area that has been a problem of resistance for them for some time. We are breaking out of that today with some positive news. Looking at levels, we're looking at 97.67. And up here, pre-market high right now, we're probably going to blow through the 96.62 that we have here. So I'm going to go ahead and mark down this one at 96.43 because you did struggle here quite a bit. And if we come below this and we continue to slam against 96.43, that's going to be an interesting level for this ticker. So I'm going to have that there. We'll leave that there for now, and then we'll see what the pre-market high is going to end up to be. Above this, we are looking at a level here at 103. We'll slam a level there. And then towards the bottom, there's another level here at 100. Might actually be 100 on the dot there, but I got 100.63 there. It's a good level of support. We saw that across the board there as well. So that is BABA. Again, moving very well right now. Volume is okay. We've seen better pre-market activity, but volume is okay for now. Here's NVIDIA, guys. Again, big drop for them. They were down quite a bit, all the way down to 164.38. They're bouncing back quite a bit. They're $4 above from that right now. So again, it's a big bounce at the moment for them, with some negative news on as far as guidance on their earnings. But right now you can see that bounce is taking place. So as far as levels, we're going to go over here to the left. We're going to mark down a couple of places here. We're going to look at a 160.05. So 160.05 is a good level there. And you can see here you have a lot of support and resistance on that area. And then below that, we do have 153.15. And that's going to be an area of support and resistance as well. And above that, you have the highs and lows for the last two trading days. Give me 1 second, guys. All right, just had to hand out some keys there. Okay, so what do we have here? So 164, 160, and 153 credit card to wife. Oh no, she already has those, man. She already has those. I don't need to hand those over. 147.28. As you can see here, we have also an area of support on Nvidia. Again, these two guys definitely a stretch. I don't think we're getting there. But 160, not far-fetched, but we'll see, because right now we're seeing a lot of strength in this ticker, at least from the bounce of the lows of the pre-market this morning. And those that was an area yesterday after hours where we saw some support there happening as well. So looking pretty good there, guys, on Nvidia. Again, tons of volume. Love what's happening there now. And then, of course, Tesla. We're towards the bottom. We have tons of levels here, highs and lows for the last two trading days. You can see that there. And then over here we have 307. 95, 307.95, and then up here we also have 314.52. So again, tons of stuff happening there as well. Good. Tesla is very interesting. Great volume this morning, and just hope that it's not choppy, that we can have some opportunities on this one. All right, what we got going on? I see plug, and a plug. So everybody's mentioning plug. Let's take a look at plug. Oh, look at that plug. What is the news on plug? Let's go to Trading Terminal and see what's going on. If it's out already, sometimes it takes a bit. Computers get it first, and then we gotta wait a little bit to get our info. But let's see what's happening with plug this morning. Any news on the politic front? I know there were it's a lot of stuff going on there, and that's usually what tends to move it this much. Looking at news on plug, what do we have here? I don't have nothing out in the last couple of minutes yet. So nothing that I see. Have you guys found anything? Plug and Amazon signed a deal. Oh, look at that. This is gonna go insane. Remember, guys, in the in pre-market, there are no volatility halts, so this thing can just run as it pleases. There will be no halts on this thing until the market opens. So yeah, so during the market hours is when you get halts. Right now it can run as it wants. So Amazon mentioned is the new pump and dump. Yeah, if you put your name on Amazon, if you put Amazon on anything, it's gonna move quite a bit here. What was the last one that we had? This was Piton, right? Piton was the last one we had yesterday. You put Amazon on there, and just the naming that company with anything else is gonna get you going, just because of sheer success that Amazon has obviously had and the effect that it can have on things. So yeah, so we'll see what's happening here on plug. Definitely in play. Let's add this to our list right below Tesla here. We are adding plug with some great volume at 10% this morning. Plug has seen some really good days lately, right? How about that? Gapped up here. And this thing is, after again just getting crushed, has been down quite a bit here. It was at 31, went all the way down to us. It's like $12, and then back up here to 30 now. But it's seen some pretty good days in the month of August. So here, as we're ending the month again, getting some more good news, and we're looking at a pop that is pretty nice right now, 11.5. Let's see how the second leg is going to do is always more important in this 5 minute. Let's see how the next 5 minutes does. We're going to set a base where we're going to continue to run here. So Plug and Amazon signed green hydrogen agreement. Excellent. All right, here, let's see, guys. We do have a level on the daily towards the bottom. We'll focus on that first 29.53 right on there. That looks pretty good. And then below that, guys, you don't have to really add anything. You have your highs and lows for the last 2 trading days. And you also have your low of your pre-market, pretty much the high from yesterday. So right now, slamming against is 31.14 with some insane volume, 1 million shares traded. This thing looks like it's actually open right now, which is showing you how much volume is running through this. So there it is. We're going to get through the high of the pre-market there. And the next 5 minutes coming up in a minute. We'll see what that does in a few minutes there. All right, and then our secondary list, CRM, Snow, ANF, and JD. I'm just checking. They're not doing anything overly exciting at the moment. So we will keep those on the back burner for now. But we got a pretty exciting and electrifying list here, as we can see. Plug doing his thing. Wow, it's gonna go to 32 here. It is gonna go. All right, let's go back to the left. Do we have any levels up here? Yes, we do. We do have right on here. We do have 32.08. Might be actually 32, but that's okay. Head more to the left. We've been as high as 48 on this thing. So in here, let's get some good daily levels. We can quickly see there's a level right over here at 34.57. Good area there. Another great level here at 36.91. And just in case we're going to the moon today, 39.81. And then you also have a few other levels up here at 42.60. All right, usually we don't go up this high, but the type of action this thing is getting could be a runner all day. So let's see how this is going to affect things. All right, Plug Small Forces taking some pre-market action here. He's traded that and he is done. So excellent, guys. Good for those that took that trade early on Plug and have should have made your day by now with the way that thing is moving. Plug for the win. I see some viewers on YouTube have also taken this trade. Very nice, guys. And see, that's the benefit of being up early and hanging out with us and preparing for the morning, right? You get to catch some of these moves here. So that's pretty nice there. Let's see if it's going to continue at 14.5. Volume keeps coming in. New 5-minute opened up a minute ago. Let's see how this is going to play out. We're going to get a sell-off, or are we going to set a base? What we want to see here, hopefully, and you're gonna get a pullback, but just hopefully kind of hold here, and maybe we can get running for the entire day here. Nice, Just Joe. Very nice. Good. I see a lot of you guys took this trade. Excellent. Very nice. Very nice. All right, guys. Outside from what we have, is there anything that looks decent for us to look at? I think we're pretty much set. I see Eamon got his list out and ready. Potential longs for today. He's looking at 2 only: Zoom and Disney. And again, we're talking about mentorship, right? Kind of the way how to find a mentor. Eamon has a very specific trading style, right? So you can see here he's looking at 2 tickers, and there's something he likes about these 2. He's looking at certain information on the daily that's confirming this. He's also looking at news and everything else. So you want to find who you can match up with, and they can be a huge help to the way you are looking to trade as a trader. Jimmy's got his list out. Let's see anything here that we have not looked at. CCL is the one that we have not looked at, and we'll look at Apple as well. Apple has an event coming up. When is that? Is it, I think, next week? I had it here on the notes here. Apple has an event coming up September 7th, product unveiling. So hopefully they're going to talk about a USB-C for their iPhones going forward. That's the only thing that can make it exciting. Everything else is recycled. There's nothing new that Apple's doing. I mean, it's just blah. Everything is blah on Apple. It's the same thing. No more Steve Jobs days right now. CCL pretty quiet right now, 1.1 million. It's got some volume, but man, this pre-market is shady. Shady pre-market action, 1.1 million, but you're not doing anything. So we'll see what it does here. Don't say that they can reinvent the lightning connector. I'm sure they'll come up with some madness. I never seen such smart people, because they're smart. These guys are geniuses. Be so stupid, right? It's just it's mind-boggling how that works sometimes, but it is what it is. All right, there we go. So you're using a TradingView platform. Do you think So how is the Trading View platform compared to Dash Trader Pro? I think, I mean, they're two different platforms. You can't compare that. They're not apples to apples, right? Trading View is, I have not used it, but I seen what they do, and they're not direct access platform. So, and I think they're web based. I don't know if they have a desktop platform or not. So it's very hard to compare those two platforms. And we have a little time, so we can get into it. My answer to platform and brokers to use is you have to use something that's going to support your trading style. So, Hater, if you can trade with TradingView, with Robinhood, with Thinkorswim, whatever, if you can trade with them and you can and it can support your trading style, by all means, that's the way to go, right? But I'll give you an example. If you take Brian, if you take Andrew, which I've mentioned these names because you guys see them trade live all the time. You know, if you see these guys trade, if you give them like a Thinkorswim to actively trade to try to do what they do, they'll probably struggle and fail because they need Dash Trader Pro. They need that direct access platform that's gonna allow them to trade the way they trade, right? It's not because they can figure it out. They probably can be profitable, but they probably won't be as great of a trader. So your platform has a lot to do with how you're going to trade. So just make sure you have a platform that supports your trading style. We got a couple of members that trade with Thinkorswim. And, their style's a little bit different. They're not scalping like we do sometimes. On the 1 minute, on the 5 minute, they're not doing that. They're doing a different style because I don't know how I got Thinkorswim for other stuff. I don't know how you will scalp a 1 minute with Thinkorswim. And as I mentioned on onboarding class, I have put them side by side, my Thinkorswim and my Dash Trader Pro, and I have an insane connection of speed and download and uploads. And you can see Dash Trader Pro, the information on the price alone, without entering any orders, the price alone on Dash Trader Pro comes in updates, not crazy amount, but updates faster than Dash Trader Pro. So if then Thinkorswim. So if you can have any type of edge in trading, any type of edge, as small as it is, you need it. You need to take it, especially if you're day trading and as active as we are. It's important. But if your trading style can be supported by any platform that's even also at a lower cost, right? Thinkorswim, there's no cost to it when it comes to trading equities. Completely free, no charge, no commissions, right? Go for it. Go for it. Exactly. That's the comparison I've done before. TOS is like it's like a Ferrari. TOS is like a Ferrari. It's got the windows, it's got the radio. If you push it, it can go. But Dash Trader Pro is a NASCAR. You don't got the radio, you don't got the power windows, but you are going to move very, very fast, very, very fast. And it's made for that, right? It's light. It's made for this, and that's what Dash Trader Pro is. You don't have a TV here on Dash Trader Pro like you do in Thinkorswim. Thinkorswim has a little TV there where you could watch their show and stuff, right? You could pull up tons of data. But this doesn't have this for a reason. They want to be as light as possible just to get the job done for active traders. So, all right, guys, 9:11. We got a couple of minutes here waiting for our moderators to throw out their list. I see a few on here already. If you haven't done so already, guys, hit that thumbs up over on YouTube. We appreciate it very, very much. We're sitting at 148, so we're kind of below our threshold at the moment. We want to get around 250, 300 would be amazing. I know that's tough to do. We only have 426 people watching, but if we can get there, it does help out the channel a ton. So we appreciate you guys for that. Hope you're ready for a story time tomorrow. Is tomorrow Friday? What? Is Friday tomorrow? I thought it was like Wednesday. Oh, it is Friday. Yeah. I'll be on with you guys early. We'll get on at 8. If I can get the kids out of the house in time. We'll be on at 8 and we'll do story time. We'll do story time on Friday, story time with tea and coffee, whatever you guys are drinking, or water or vodka if you're Brian. All right, guys, recap of our list, and then we'll look at our moderators lineup, and Brian should be ready to hop on any second now. We have Piton on here. We have Baba, which is, again, looking very nice, hanging around that 96.46. We have Nvidia, which is, again, ripping here, guys, only down 2.1 now after being down quite a bit. Tesla here after the split, getting great volume. This will be exciting as well. And then we have Plug, which is, again, I like this. See, this is good. We're holding here above this 31. We want to see this hold here. And give us some opportunities to either take it long or even short if we're going to sell off, but just hold here. Don't move from here yet. wait for the market open so we can take advantage of that. And then we got some secondary stuff there based on earnings and all that good stuff. I'm going to go ahead and disable our video and bring our moderators list over so we can see what our moderators are watching this morning. And let's see here. You versus you. Yeah, we do have to have a NJ meetup. I am all for that, man. If anybody that's in NJ is local and they want to set up a meetup, I am down. I am down to meet up in a small group here, and we should do that. You know, we shouldn't have to. We always kind of promote this. You know, set up small meetups, guys. We could do small meetups. So if you're in NJ, you know, do a forum. You know, promote it, and I would definitely show up if you do it here in NJ, Connecticut, anywhere in the tri-state area. I'll show up, and we could have a small meetup. We don't have to wait for the big one. Big one is nice because, you know, we have Andrew, we have Brian. They come down and we get to kind of hang out. But that's going to happen in the future, like a webinar, like we did just recently in California, which I hear and from everyone it was an amazing webinar, amazing success. So we look forward to having that here in the East Coast in the near future. So. Yep, I'm all for it. I know Dave from Connecticut is always willing to come down as well, so we would definitely, we can definitely do that. All right, guys, moderators line up, and these meetups, guys, are also available to non-members of the community. So if you're on YouTube and you want to hang out, we can definitely do that. Eamon, looking at potential longs today: Zoom, Disney. Megan looking at SQ, CRM, and HD. Peter will be looking at not these, but these are IPOs that he's are expected to be released today. Are listed right on there, and we have Mob. Man, these names are getting really really nice. Look at this, Mob. What is Mob? What company name is Mob? It would be interesting what that is. And then here we have Brian's list: Plug, CRM, SPLK, Nvidia, and A and F. Thor will be looking at Baba, Plug, Snow, and CRM. Jerry looking at Tesla, Nvidia, Plug, and then also CRM and Snow. And yeah, and I think we are pretty much set here, guys. Did I miss anything? Nope, I think we're good. Brian will be doing Tequila Fridays with us tomorrow morning, so excellent. And it's really early for him. It's like 5 a.m. for him. So yeah, we are all in. Mob and Abe. Yeah, Jimmy, it's getting interesting with the creativity. All right, Brian will be up next, guys. Over on YouTube, thank you so much for joining us. Last opportunity to hit that thumbs up. We appreciate you getting us over 212 at the moment, getting us over that 200 mark. Thank you very much. And again, it's going to be an interesting day. Today's list is real nice, guys. It's going to be a whole lot of fun. Brian is on the mic. Good morning, Brian. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great.
All right, excellent.
I bought some plug yesterday. Just figured it had a great day yesterday. The alt energy stocks seem to be on a bit of a tear here, so I bought some, held overnight, and I was thinking maybe 50, 70 cent gap higher, but this, I don't know what happened, but obviously had some news here, so
yeah,
pretty happy now.
Excellent. Looking forward to your analysis now, what you think of this market. And guys over on YouTube, thank you so much for joining us. We will see you tomorrow, 8 a.m. Take care, guys. Stay safe.